Esteemed delegates of the TMS Ship Finance and Trade Conference, our session moderator, and a stellar lineup of panelists. Let me start off by asking you all in the audience a simple question. Who of you believe that a company needs to spend money in order to meet its green objectives? So in November 2023, I was invited on the TMS Tanker Conference to make a presentation. And I got 7 minutes then, an energy efficiency technology with a focus on anti-fouling coatings. I got 7 minutes then, I've got 7 minutes today. If I'm unable to complete my message today, fear not. Just mark your calendars for the TMS Tanker Conference, which will be held later this year, and I will be delighted to continue this discussion on the 7-minute slot that I get then. Now, Trevor's not sitting on his seat, but the theme for today's conference is capitalizing on opportunities for an era of sustainable growth. And I will be talking about one such an opportunity which capitalizes on what I believe is the ongoing era of sustainable growth. In fact, it was Abraham who said, the train has left the station. I would say the ship has left the port. So we are already into this era of sustainable growth. Specifically, I will be speaking about fouling release hull coatings, silicone technology, which significantly reduces hull drag resistance. I will also get into ideal properties, and one such ideal property of a fouling release coating is it should be biocide-free. That is, there is no leaching of any poisonous chemicals into the sea. So it's extremely long-lasting, as well as an environmentally friendly coating. A vessel which is coated with a fouling release hull coating instantly saves power when it undocks. And we have seen this go as high as 20%. There is a speed loss limitation of 1% over a 5-year period. And of course, we don't want ships to remain idle. At the end of the day, a ship only makes money as long as the propeller turns. But in the unlikely event of a vessel having to sit idle in water, then the hull coating should be able to withstand this idle period. And of course, it is also critical and helps a lot if a fouling release technology can meet the GHG targets, i.e. EEXI, EEDI, and CII. Now, we've discussed when I made the presentation in November, we spoke about an entire list of energy efficiency technologies. Some of them are applicable to some vessels, but what is undoubtedly true throughout, whether you're talking about a tug or you're talking about a VLCC, the hull coating is extremely important. It affects the vessel. Let me now take you to a case study where I'll take you on a journey, on a voyage of attraction between the largest paint company in the world, PPG, and a ship owner. It was, in fact, at the tanker conference in November that the attraction between PPG and the ship owner started as a result of the presentation. And this courtship lasted for a couple of months. And over the course of these few months, the relationship blossomed. And today is Valentine's Day. And I'm thrilled to announce that this fantastic relationship blossomed into a meaningful relationship and a firm commitment. Happy Valentine's Day. By no means was this firm commitment a romantic escapade. It was, in fact, the dry docking of a VLCC in China. 2013 built VLCC, dry docked in China with Sigma Glide 2390, which is a PPG product. And I'd like to run you through why this ship owner decided to select an expensive fouling release system. Of course, this is a ship finance and trade conference, so it'll be amiss if I didn't run through or crunch some numbers. Now, the vessel already had an existing anti-fouling system, and they were considering how to improve their CII rating and to see what are the other benefits. So what we're going to look at are the additional costs involved with applying the fouling release system. So the first cost is the application cost. The shipyard charged $110,000 over and above what they would have charged for the premium anti-fouling, which was the existing system. Then, of course, there's a cost of the paint too. That's $500,000. So there's a total of $612,000 that the ship owner had to pay over and above what they would have paid. So those of you who raised your hands on my question were absolutely right. There are no free lunches, gentlemen and ladies. But let's not look at the cost in isolation. Look at the fuel savings. $6.2 million, of course, over the course of 5 years. And if you look at that, as far as the cash flow is concerned, then you obviously minus what you paid for it. And the ship owner had a cash flow of $5.6 million, of course, over a course of 5 years, but with an NPV of $4.652 million. And that's not all. This payback was in 11 months. In 11 months, the ship owner recovered the $612,000 that they paid extra to coat the vessel with a fouling release system. And these are not figures which are fudged. This is real. This is a vessel which, as we speak, is probably steaming out of Zhoushan dry docks. And this is what they're about to save and to benefit from over the course of 5 years. So even if this vessel is kept for 2 years, the ship owner stands to gain for 13 months at least. Okay, we just looked at a 5-year period, but let's look at what happens in a 10-year period. Of course, I'm not going to go row by row, but there is as you can see, the cash flow is almost $10.4 million over the course of 10 years. Very impressive. These are the calculations. I shan't go through them because of time, but if anybody likes to know, I'll be happy to refer back to that slide. Those are cash in the pocket. What about CII? Again, a very complicated slide, but I draw your attention to the PPG Sigma Glide over the course of 10 years. Please just look at what happens to the CII rating over the course of 10 years, right? Worst case scenario is over in the 9th and the 10th year, the vessel falls into the C category. Should they have maintained the existing system with paying $612,000 less, the existing system would have resulted in a D rating in the last year. Of course, thereafter, they would have done a class renewal and a dry dock. They've gone into C, but once again slipped into the unacceptable D rating in the 9th and the 10th year. This is a snapshot of the opportunity that I just presented, the numbers I've discussed before. This is what the biocide-free fouling release can do for optimum efficiency and a decarbonized future. And when I talk about a decarbonized future, I draw your attention to the carbon savings which I have highlighted. 51,500 tons in a 10-year period. What does that translate into money-wise? Well, we had some discussions about the EU ETS. Once again, a rather complicated slide, but I just draw your attention to the figure which we've considered the VLCCs to be spending 25% of its time in the EU waters. $836,000 saved. And this is in addition to, obviously, the savings due to fuel. I certainly hope that these numbers have been impressive, and these are real numbers taken from a real case, which I have just presented, and the Middle East ship owner has, in fact, carried out this project, and most likely doing it on a sister vessel, too. Over to you, Mr. Moderator.